is the head of the Department of Political Science, faculty members, colleagues, and my young friends. I thank the department for inviting me to speak to you today. I'm aware that this probably is not the best time to come to the university, but still, in spite of it, Dr. Parvez Salam thought that since I was around the place, it might be better that I come now. So he made something convenient to me when probably the conditions were not very convenient. And thank you, Parvez, for taking this trouble and inviting me to speak on my book on which I worked for quite a few years. As I will call Parvez Parvez. I hope you don't mind. Yeah. Parvez, at the end of his note, he just mentioned what is it that made me to write this book and how did I go about writing the book. Uh, the, these days, it is difficult to raise these questions because there is intentions are difficult to decipher. But let me say two reasons which made me to get into this book. Mm, It's not that I am writing on Baba Sahib Ambedkar for the first time. I had written on Ambedkar quite early. I published my first essay on Ambedkar's reading of Buddhism in 1991 in Peter Roff's book, Dalit and Labor Movements in India. And then subsequently, I published quite a bit on Ambedkar's works. But there is something that has happened to uh, Dr. Ambedkar's works in the last 30 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years. Uh, from relative margins, increasingly Ambedkar has spread in the academic world. Ambedkar was a looming presence in the public domain in India. And I think it is important for us to distinguish between political presence and academic presence. But academically, Ambedkar was not a major presence. And this was the case almost till the end of the century last. But in the last 20 years, Ambedkar has grown enormously in the academia, and not merely in India, but also in several universities. When I was talking yesterday in Lucknow University, I mentioned that just last year, my book was published at the end of last year. Just last year, there were about 10 books on Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and 3 of them by scholars from outside India, published from the US. So I thought that, of course, I didn't know that there would be so many books coming out in 2024 on Dr. Ambedkar. Probably I would not have ventured to write my own book. I started on this journey about 10 years ago, but I knew that there was a growing interest on Ambedkar, not merely in India, but across the world. And I thought I would like to intervene there because I had certain specialized knowledge with regard to this field, and that is the first reason why I thought I should actually write the work. My book is not a biography. There are a lot of biographies that have come out. I see my book as a book in political philosophy, as Parvez has rightly pointed out, and it actually begins to suggest political philosophy in a particular way. And that is my second argument. Again, in the last 30 to 40 years, there has been a growing feeling that the world that we are living in was defined to us rather than we defining the world. And there has been an argument that it is important that that word, that something I would say big word, that epistemic world of understanding needs to be decentered from the transatlantic world to beyond it, beyond those very bounded confines. So there has been a search for nodal points, key concepts, frames of reference, wherein a new world can be defined, a new world where different and diverse voices can be heard. And I thought that Ambedkar is one of those scholars, not necessarily alone, but one of those scholars who is available for us to speak from the periphery, not merely of the periphery of the world, but periphery of a particular society, but speaking to the nation as well as